Alrighty. Well, we'll go ahead and transition here into the Q&A part. If you have a win, feel free. You can always interrupt us. We'd love to hear them, and it's always helpful. Those oftentimes turn into learning moments as well. But what questions do we have this morning? What things have been coming up that you guys want to get some feedback, maybe some answers on? And go ahead and unmute.
I got a quick question, and it may just be personal preference, but you were talking about how he got some vans. I'm looking to put a van on the road. I'm leaning towards the Ford Transit, but the Ram ProMasters are far less expensive. Anybody have any experience between the ProMaster, the Ford, and the Mercedes vans?
Jordan, I saw your hand go up quick. What advice do we got on that? You're muted.
Hands down, Transit 250, 350. And so what we do is I just scour online for used ones, right? I look for things that are like under 100,000 miles. But if you get the shelving, the bulkhead, and the ladder rack on it, I mean, that's like $15,000 if you get it from the dealership. So if you can find a used one, like our price point's usually between like 25 and 35 for a used one. And it already comes with all the shelving, the bulkhead, and the ladder racks. And that's the route we've gone. So far, I've been lucky and not had many problems with them. And then, most of the used dealerships have, warranties, and I just add the warranty into the cost of the van. It's usually about like $3,000 or $4,000 for the warranty. And I usually get the warranty just to protect it throughout the life of the loan. But yeah, I tried to buy one other one and it was just a disaster. I don't know, being able to stand up in the back of a van and not have to crawl into it, and being able to like part it out organized with shelving and stuff like that, not have to have your ladders in there and they can be up on the roof and stuff like that. Yeah, it's money. Just remember, you can't drive through drive-throughs.
Good to know. Okay, so the medium to high roof is absolutely much better than the low roof, right?
1,000%.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can stand up in the back of it. I mean, you can just walk right into it. And they tow. I mean, I've got tow hitches on all of them. I mean, I've never towed like a big trailer, but scissor lifts, trenchers, things like that, no problem.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. That was supposed to be mute.
You're good. Great advice. Advice that your coach would have not known. So that's why we come to these calls, because I would have been like, what are those? What
That's
other
great. Thank you.
Questions, thoughts, concerns, grievances, things you're trying to work through? Philip.
One thing I'm trying to figure out for myself is we deal with deck works and patio covers the majority of our work for my in-house group, but we also sub out a lot of our restoration with like fire damages, any reframing, siding, roofing, and stuff that kind of feels like whatever whatnot like that with our builders. We haven't yet done any work with adjusters directly, but with other restoration builders, we take on the scope. My question is trying to figure out how far is too wide to stretch. I hear that trying to find your niche and trying to stick with it is going to grow you a lot more from what I hear from other local guys. And here I feel like in two different industries, doing deck building and then after that getting into doing the fireworks. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. So essentially figuring out what is important to include as far as diversifying services, adding related things to your service offering, I guess, versus finding your niche. Where do you go? Where do you stay?
Yeah.
Nice. Great question. Yeah. Well, we definitely got some feedback for you. Any clients want to jump in before Nicole and I take the reins? Have some feedback there for Philip.
I missed the question. What was that?
How much should you diversify your services, right? Versus staying in your niche, trying to find a specific thing versus adding related services.
Yeah, so Philip, and you can totally correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, Philip is primarily doing decking and fencing, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's thinking maybe what if I did do more remodeling services? What if I did kind of, do exterior painting or even got into the interior? So it's not, I wouldn't say like wildly outside of his scope. It's not like an HVAC guy who's thinking they need to also do like chimney repair. It's a little bit more direct. But it's still a big decision and kind of a big investment. I see hands going up. I'm in
Philip.
first. Philip Doughton, I'm wondering if I said your last name correctly. What feedback do you have?
You nailed it.
Good. Yes.
So yeah, I have from last year there was we were focusing on accessory dwelling units, ADUs, and a backyard apartment homes that people are starting to put up here in Denver. And we were doing so many of them. We did 6 in 1 year, which was like 3 times as much as we had done in the past. So we're like, oh, we're just going to do ADUs. That's, what we're going to focus on. They're easier, less problematic than remodels. And then the tariffs happen and rates go up, and ADUs have kind of like just dropped off in Denver quite a bit. So we had to pivot back into remodels. So that was just kind of a lesson of like, the more you can kind of diversify. And if we were taking on more remodels while we were doing the ADUs, we wouldn't have felt that drop as much. So kind of staying as diversified as possible is kind of something that I took from last year.
Yeah. Great
Nice.
advice. It definitely widens your scope of opportunity. And if something happens, you've got something else to lean on. So totally agree. Fletcher, see your hand up. If you want to unmute and
Yes, just to add to that, our company actually has diverse services in the name. And that's partly because working with customers here in the city of Detroit, whenever we get there, they begin to ask us to do any and everything else. And we attempted that years ago to try to do any and everything else. And we just started to narrow down to what it is that we're good at. And so now this year, specifically this year, we are focusing mainly on the things that our team has been trained on, both to perform the tests, also know how to be safe with the PPE regarding using materials or substances when working on someone's home. In addition, we only do the services that we promote, so that when customers call us for something else, we just remind them who we are and what we do. This allows us to, one, not have any callbacks, because if somebody attempts to do something and then it doesn't work, now we have to go back, and now we actually lost money instead of making money. We spent money on fixing something that we typically don't fix. So it has been hard because the other co-CEO here is used to doing all the diversified services that we used to provide, but it has saved us tons of money and time, and has actually allowed us to target a specific customer. So I would recommend, unless you have it's a service that doesn't require any additional training, any additional safety training, and any additional equipment or material, and that's something that just sort of like falls in your lane, I wouldn't recommend trying to add any services that require more than what your staff already knows how to do.
Nice. Thanks for the input there, Fletcher. Robert, what do you got? You whipped around.
So essentially, when I started my business, I was doing concrete patios, small patios, just anything, smaller residential concrete or less. And then came to the winter time, I got slow and went back to what I know in remodeling. With that being said, I kind of for a while got scattered and was doing a whole lot of everything, and I feel like I kind of lost on quality and stuff like that. Being spread out, going to doing multiple things. You just end up getting calls for a little bit of everything. I still get calls every day for all sorts of different stuff that I don't necessarily do anymore. I feel like I'm trying to get honed back in on just back to remodeling, foundation repair, and then more of the roofing and less of all the other little stuff. Just kind of for a while it got too sporadic and too much jumping around.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think. Well, I'll let Tyler go first, and then I'll add in my 2 cents. Tyler, what do you got, sir?
I guess just back to the base question that he asked. He was asking, your Phillips a fence company, and he's asking about doing other work. I don't know how new your business is or kind of where you're at with it, but sometimes you have to get outside of your comfort zone to get cash flow and to do jobs. But at the end of the day, I've been going through that in the past year, just kind of giving my perspective on it. I'm not saying it's the right way or what, or, but, I'm a custom home builder is kind of what I'm getting at. I started off with specs, and I'm starting to lean towards customs now with just the way the economy is and selling of houses in the area that I was working in. And I had people come to me that bought spec houses from me, and they wanted additions. And I know additions and remodels take a lot more time, a lot more of my time to get done, but having to do it to float. And I had all the subs, I had framers, I had roofers, I had, electricians, I had everybody. So I knew whatever I wanted to do, those guys could do it for me. They're the professionals in their, in their trade. It was just up to me to make sure I priced the job right to where I would make money and I would be able to give a quality product at the end. So I don't think, if you're in the fence company and you aren't just bowed up and have no time for anything else, why not do it? Why not dive into it? And you're gonna learn. You're gonna miss something. You're gonna mess something up. It's just part of it. But as long as you give a quality product at the end of the job, and you have the time to do it, and you need the cash flow, do it. Jump in. That's all I got.
Oh yeah, man, I love a lot of what you said, Tyler, and I agree a ton with really all of it. I think a lot of what he said, Philip, is really important, and I would also add in what Zach kind of alluded to earlier. It's a calculated choice, so there's things to consider, right? You're not going to add in services that are well beyond your typical scope. Like if you're typically doing, $15,000 bathroom remodels or something like that, and then suddenly you get an opportunity to bid a whole home, renovation, and it's going to be a $400,000 project. That's probably going to be one of those things that'll distract you and reduce the quality you're able to provide on all your other projects. Maybe it's too big of a jump or too far of a departure from your normal, work, but you're using an in-house group and subbing out some trades. Your subcontractors potentially have that knowledge and skill, and if you've got a good relationship with them where you can work out pricing arrangements so you can bid those jobs like Tyler was saying, as long as you're profitable, it makes sense, but stay within related trades. I would also say, like what Tyler said, if you're filled out with work on fence building alone, heck yeah, keep running that niche. You're in that niche and it's working well. But if you don't have the lead flow or the cash flow to really support all that you need to, follow the fruit of where you are able to generate leads. And it may be trying adding a few services to your Google business or your local services and just seeing what starts to come in making sure that you only take on the jobs you can really deliver a good product on. But when you're able to generate that type of work, you can take on that type of work as you build your network. So I see a lot of times with startups, especially on the general contracting side, they'll start maybe more niche, cast out their service net a little bit wider, and then come back into a little bit more niche again as well. But that's by following the fruit of what produces well and what you can do really well and churn out. Really great question, man. Anybody else have anything to add there? Nice. What other questions do we have this morning? Any other itching thoughts? Things you've been considering, wondering? Okay, got two at the same time. Robert, I think you were first. Go ahead, sir.
So I was talking with Keaton about our logo, more or less, and I've been seeing. I've got two buddies. One owns an electric company. The other owns a plumbing company. Both of them have changed their logos to be more of like a almost. I don't even know how to explain it. One of them's got like a 3D little guy with his finger up. The other's got like a guy on a rocket. I don't know, more of the like corny looking logos, I would say. but from what I understand, they work a lot better than just words on a sign or just a logo on a sign, something like that. I was just wondering if anybody has had luck with changing their logo or rebranding or not.
Nice.
Let's go to Brian, because it sounds like Brian has feedback for Robert, and I think he also had a question, so it might be a good segue. I don't know, Zach, it looks like Zach Crowell has some feedback too.
So for feedback to that question, we actually just rebranded our company, and we went through several different methods. You can see here, this is our new logo.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
It took a couple of years to actually develop it and get it to where it is today. And we went through several different companies looking for this design to come forward. And in the end, we went with our print copy business that's been making all our cards and all our advertising and everything. And we put the bug in his ear about we're wanting to do a new logo, and he gave us several different iterations of it, and then we mishmashed the ones that we liked into what it is today. But I went with several different people trying to find the right logo, and it was about 4 or 5 different companies that we tried. And you just have to tell them what you want and then see if you like it, and then don't be afraid to walk away to look for something else if it's not what you want. I would also say it's very important, don't let them force you to do something, because you'll feel pressured with, I've paid this money so far and I really don't like it. It's not something that jumps out at you. It needs to be the thing that really catches you, is what it came down for us.
That's good. Zach, did you have some feedback too?
Yeah, I didn't do it necessarily myself, but a guy that used to work for me years ago, he opened his own roofing company. His name's Rocky, and he's Rox Roofing, ROX. And he came up with this design. He started off real basic, and then he came up with this guy. It's a dude playing a guitar. The guitar is a hammer with strings on it. The pick is a nail. It's very specific to him, and their slogan is Rock Star Service. He just he dove straight into something that was very specific to him and his company name and what they did. And they were super creative with it. And their colors are obnoxious. They're bright teal and gold or something. And I mean, you can't miss it. He has these box trucks that drive down the road, and when you see it, it just sticks out, because you look, what the hell is this? And it's goofy, but it works so well for him. I mean, he went from doing repairs for me in 2015, and now he's one of the top 20 contractors in San Antonio. And his branding is just second to none. I don't know who he's using, but the creativeness he used, him and his team really dove into it. And they came up with something that is, and I hate to say it, it's probably grown his business more than anything else he would have done in the meantime, just because it's so visually attracting. And you just something to think about. Like I said, I haven't done it. He's just a good friend of mine, and it really just makes him stand out in a market where everybody looks the same. So you might just look at what you're doing and who you are and come up with something really outside the box and that grabs people's attention. And that's just kind of my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I think that's great feedback. Real quick, Robert, have you ever thought about starting a barn building company? Because I think you could really do something cool with barns.
I build some, but
it's funny. If you really did do barns, I would actually absolutely, kind of in the spirit of what Zach's feedback was, encourage you to create a company called Barnes. But so there's a few main things. So the first thing I want to say, Robert, is it sounded like in some of the examples that you gave, you were talking about service companies. And there is a part of this that is a little bit more important for a service business to create a recognizable, memorable brand that jumps out just by seeing it, specifically for service businesses. Reason why is because a lot of people who are in need of, let's say, electrician, HVAC, plumbing company, they're in a spot where a lot of the calls maybe are based on an emergency situation, and if they see someone with high-end branding or even branding that really stands out, that jumps out at you but looks professional, right, looks high-end, there's a trust layer that's immediately developed with that person that you can establish with them, that companies that don't have that branding, right, they just have like a magnet slapped on the side of a white van, won't do as well. So there is legitimacy to this. However, there's a couple of kind of caveats. The first thing is that it's really easy to get caught up in a very expensive and lengthy logo process that isn't always necessary. So I would focus beforehand on really coming up with an idea that is memorable, or coming up with an idea of a direction you want to go prior to wanting to do this whole rebrand, because people can lead you down rabbit holes. It can get really expensive really fast, and working with branding companies is really expensive. The thing though I would do first is what's more powerful than just a catchy logo and a solid color scheme with wrapped trucks, is making sure that you have an established, unique value proposition for your brand and for your company. What that means is that you and anyone else who's a part of your company can very quickly say, here are the things that make us stand out from our competitors, right? It's called a unique value proposition. There's a really good book that you can listen to or read that I would encourage you to check out for this specific thing, called Purple Cow by Seth Godin. Seth Godin is this kind of legendary marketing guy. He was like an influencer before influencers. He's still very popular now. He's worked with some of the world's top brands in terms of marketing and branding. But he has this book called Purple Cow that is all about how if you don't stand out in your marketplace, you're invisible. He talks about how businesses that are doing the same thing that all other businesses are doing are not remarkable. And he says unremarkable businesses don't stand out. Yeah, thank you. We also have some tools to identify your unique value proposition. So rather than going on a wild goose chase of trying to find like a cool, new logo that's catchy and stand out, What I'm suggesting is to first know what your brand is and what makes you stand out before any of the artwork is done. What are those 4 things or 5 things? If I were to ask you, why should I work with you to do my, foundation work versus anyone else in town? What are those 4 or 5 things that you are telling someone in less than 60 seconds that makes you stand out? Right? For example, with Power Builders Construction, right? What's our unique value proposition? Right. First thing is we have transparent billing. We regularly give you reports that you don't have to ask for that tell you where every penny of your money is going on this remodeling project. The second thing is that you never have to pay more than this job costs with us. We're a cost plus contractor that charges a flat rate fee. We don't charge a markup for materials or subs. You pay what we pay for those things. We charge a standard hourly rate. Then we have a project management and contractor fee. You're never having to, play the mystery markup game. You're never wondering how we got our pricing, anything like that, right? Third thing is that with us, you have your remodel at your fingertips 24/7. You can make change orders. You can see the schedule. You can see daily logs, all from the, just from your phone. What we're really saying there is we just have Builder Trend. We just do customer portals, right? And Builder Trend, right? But that's how we brand it, right? Then we say that we have the team that even the pros call to ask for advice, right? Our head of construction, our construction manager, I remember when he was actually, when we were kind of interviewing him, I called some of his references, and one of them was a guy who runs like a carpentry studio in the Seattle area. And this guy literally told me, he goes, Evan is the guy that I call whenever I have like questions about carpentry, right? So like a carpentry teacher, the pros are calling our team for questions, right? We've got a combined like over 40 years of experience in construction. There's nothing that we can't handle, right? And the last thing that we say is we have design services available for any budget. If you want to work with like a professional designer, we have options to do that. Or if you need design help and you don't have the budget for it, we have other options available through some of our like vendors and suppliers that can help with design work as well. So like those are like the 5 things that make us stand out. And we put that on our one sheet. We put it all over our website. We put it in our ads. We say it, in our emails and text. We tell the customer it in our first appointment walkthrough. But that is what a brand is. A brand is more about what actually separates you from everyone else out there than it is about your artwork, right? Because you can have really impressive artwork, right? But if you have a shit service, that artwork isn't going to do much for you, right? Excuse my French. Does that make sense?
It's more or less building value, right?
Well, it's more or less letting people know that you are not just a commodity, that you are not just another foundation guy, right? You're not just another electrician. You're not just another general contractor. Because if you're viewed as a commodity, the only decision point a customer is using is price.
Yes, yeah.
Because they view you as all the same as all the other guys. So what you're doing is you're walking in there and you're creating a brand, right? And you're putting this stuff on your trucks, like you're putting it everywhere. This unique value proposition of, hey, we're not just every other brand, and here's why, right? And that's what really creates a brand. And then as an owner, what you're doing is you're driving that home with your team, right? You're repeating it over and over and over. It's not just something that you're saying and putting on a paper and not really taking seriously, right? You're saying, guys, we really are the best in town for this service. Here's why. We do this better than people. Why are we not? And you're making it a part of your identity and your culture, right? My recommendation is simply go through that process first. Then creating the new logo will be a lot easier. And I guess you could capstone this thought as saying a logo at the end of the day, a brand at the end of the day is whatever the company makes it. If you look at some of the world's top logos, right, for like top brands, a lot of the logos are just a simple like word, right? Like if you think about, Facebook, right? It's just a blue logo with white text that says Facebook, right? Or, you think about even Uber, right? I think Uber has a logo because they have an app, but it's literally just the word Uber in fairly basic font. Yeah, Nike. They've got the check mark, right? But it's just like a written word, right? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we got all sorts of examples coming up. And so a logo is about what you make it. Do I think that there's legitimacy in creating a recognizable brand that stands out? Absolutely. Like literally, when I said the Barnes thing, that wasn't a joke. Like literally, if you built Barnes, I have a friend who started a bookkeeping business. His last name is literally Profit. He owns a bookkeeping business. His last name is Profit. It's Profitt, right? And I told him, I was like, dude, you're not doing enough with your last name. This is incredible. This is amazing. Like you run a bookkeeping business, profit with profit bookkeeping. Like, dude, that's memorable, right? Maybe it's cheesy, maybe it's corny or whatever, but it stands out and is memorable. So that is absolutely a real thing. That can become a distraction if you don't have your UVP dialed in first. Yeah, please.
Amen. Before we move, driven this home, but please do not get stuck in the logo phase. There's nothing more painful for your coach, and there's nothing more detrimental to your growth.
Right.
If creating a logo or editing your website or all of this BS that doesn't matter a ton is distracting you from the things in the business that do matter a ton, if it's distracting you from your sales process, if it's distracting you from hiring, if it's distracting you from nailing down your pricing, a logo is exciting and it's fun, so it tends to take up our time. But I promise you, the difference in between your logo is not going to be the difference maker to getting to your goals. It's just an add-on. The main point of your logo is for people to know who you are and what it is you do. If it does those two things, your logo is fine. Don't fret about it. Before we go to wrap your vehicle, yeah, let's do some cool design shit. But do not get stuck in that logo phase, because all it's going to do is prevent you from focusing on the things that actually are going to solve your biggest limiting factors and actually are going to cause you to grow. It's my last plug. I see a lot of hands up. Brian, do you have a question? What's going on?
Jay gives a clapping hand saying, preach it, sister.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
I like it, Jay.
I do have a question. I don't know if we have enough time for it, but I was going to ask about healthcare for employees. Like, what options are out there that are affordable for a small business, or are there any that can be
Brian,
used?
there's a company in Tulsa that I can connect you with that has that solution. And so, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that answer. I haven't answered a specific answer to your question. I have a company. It's called Thrive here in Tulsa, and I can get you connected to a guy named TJ Scoggins, who is really sharp, and he manages all of that. And they have a lot of different affordable options. What they basically do is they create like Fortune 500 benefits packages for small, like mom pop businesses, right? And they do that affordably. So you can just do healthcare through him, but they can help you set up 401k plans, healthcare, dental, other retirement, all through one place. So, Brian, what I'll do is I'm gonna text you TJ's information.
Okay.
And if you don't have luck with him, or maybe it's not what you're looking for, let me know, because I've got a few other options for you. But I really like Thrive, and I really like TJ. They do good work. They're one of I think Inc.'s magazines. They're like one of the fastest growing companies for like small businesses. So they're doing really good work, and I really trust their team. Jordan.
If you'll unmute, we'll be.
I would also like that contact info. I was going to say before you jumped in, Robert, like what we've done with our company, because it's what we've found, the options we've looked at have been extremely expensive. We've told the guys if they go through like healthcare.gov, we'll pay half. So they just get it from like the government. Obama,
Yeah, I actually really
pay half.
I really like the reason why I like that is because it's a creative solution to still offering a benefit package of some kind. You know, a lot of people are like, well, I either provide healthcare or I don't provide anything. But sometimes in the growth of your business, there is kind of like a middle ground where you get creative. Like I know for a long time, like Redmond Growth, we have good healthcare plans now. But in the early days where we just weren't ready to take on that additional overhead for a healthcare plan, like I think the company provided, I don't know if we even provided Nicole or Bryce this, but and it wasn't much for me. But we did like a health share program through like Liberty Health Share, right? They're one of those like, have you guys heard of these health share programs? Yeah. So it's not like insurance, but it's like they're nonprofit organizations where you pay a kind of lower monthly fee. I think it was like $150 that it cost us. And it contributes towards a fund that then certain like major medical expenses or surgeries or things like that can then be covered by this health share plan. So I really like that, Jordan, that you kind of found a middle ground.
And you know, Robert, the company I left when I came to you was called Thrive.
Well, there is like probably 10,000 different companies out there called Thrive. Like we used to be in cahoots with a company called Thrive ourselves, but they weren't in any of this space, right? Or they were a marketing company, but it wasn't the marketing company that you're talking about.
Aaron, Albuquerque.
Real quick,
What's
Brian,
going
you're
on?
based in Broken Arrow, right?
Yes, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, that's where I am too.
Okay, just real quick, I wanted to mention, I heard you guys talking about logo. So, great idea that I got from somebody at one point in time. We got our logo. You go on to freelancer.com. Go on to freelancer.com, create a contest. You create a contest and you put some information. I'm from Albuquerque. I wanted a construction business that specializes in concrete. And I just put a little brief bio of who I am and what the mission state, whatever. Put some information in there for these people. You run a contest. This contest runs all over the entire world. I put $100 prize. I got about 260 entries of different logos. We narrowed it down to about 5 that we really loved. And then and then you set a timer for your contest. It was about 10 days or something like that. $100. I got people from every corner of the world, Iran, Turkey, Ethiopia, everywhere. You have all these people from the entire world working on your logo, looking up whatever your city is and looking up businesses. Long story short, we got about 200 and some entries, and then I upped it $50 and I continued it for another 7 days. And I think it was $150 that we bought our logo for. We love it. It's unique. Didn't put much thought into it. I ended up with over 500 entries. This guy from Turkey is the one that developed it. We got the rights to it, the whole deal if we want to trademark it. But that's my suggestion for logo. Do that. I got that great idea from a marketing person when I was in school. And that really, really worked well for us. Didn't have to put any thought into it other than just selecting it. Once we narrowed down the 2 or 3 logos that we liked, I just reached out to everybody that was on Facebook and all the different social media that we knew and said, hey, pick one. Which one's the best? And then I just measured, the response. And I knew what I liked and my wife knew what she liked. And then we didn't share with anybody what we liked. And everybody ended up selecting what we chose. And that's our logo. And so that's an easy way to get a great logo. Just wanted to mention that.
Yep.
You're awesome, Aaron. Appreciate you, dog.
Thank you.
How are you doing, by the way?
We're doing all right. Doing all right. Things are good. Everybody's
Good.
yeah, we implemented the complete reset and things are
Yeah,
going in the right direction.
good.
Uh we just the tide shifted and then it changed the entire dynamic. We secured it looks like we secured another 1.5 mil. So we're
Oh,
really
just another
excited.
1.5 mil. Okay, yeah. So just to let
Casual.
everyone know, Aaron's based in, if you guys couldn't guess, he's based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He has a business called Albuquerque Construction and Concrete. And
Which, by the way, is definitely one of the things we talk about with branding, is making sure people know where you're at and what you do with your name.
that so good.
Yep.
Thank you, Bryce. So like, yeah, so he has a great brand. So I mean, Aaron's doing around 4 or 5 million a year in top line, does a residential, commercial, new construction work, does it all. And he recently had to like reset his entire sales team, right? Because there was some just real negative energy, real weird stuff going on. Him and I met about it a few times. And so anyway, that's why I'm asking him how he's doing. And I'm really glad to hear, Aaron, that things are turning around, man. I feel like it needs that reset. I feel like the future is going to be much better because of it.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that I was reluctant to do. I had a, I always think of a statement. It's called, I've heard it from another group that I've known, and they say camaraderie causes blind spots. I had an associate of mine that we used to work together come on and help me to build a business, but their goals they didn't line up with what the company vision and goals were, and they were back. Uh, they were problematic, and I didn't want to move on it. I think about a year ago, Nicole actually kind of helped me identify that and said, this is probably something that you're going to have to um, follow through with. And I was reluctant to do so, and I'm glad that we did because, like I said, it really changed the entire dynamic of the business to make those tough decisions and have those tough conversations. Something that I had a little bit of reluctancy and I guess fear of, right? And so I'm glad that we were able to work through that. Thank you guys for that. It's really the best thing that's happened to us.
You're awesome, Aaron. Appreciate that a ton. And so love seeing the growth.
You guys have both said it. Now I feel like I'm supposed to say it. You're awesome, Aaron. I
He
think you're cool
is.
too.
Thank you guys. So are you guys. We couldn't do it without you guys.
No.
So are all you guys.
You're all awesome.
Michael Middleton, Tyler Lee, Mr. Alexander Marintos, back in the lab, back in the spaceship. He looks like he's on the Millennium Falcon there. Yeah, what's up? Brian, you're awesome. Hey, Brian, did you get the contact information for TJ that I sent?
Thumbs
Yes,
up.
I saw it pop up. Thank you.
Awesome. Dude,
Alrighty.
Jordan just shared with me his one he shared earlier. This is really cool to see, dude.
Oh yeah.
This is really, really cool to see.
Yeah.
I apologize I was a little bit late. I was spending some extra time with the guys at AZ Renovations, had a really good meeting with them, Scott Whitwam and Chris Everett. But really glad that you share this with me, dude. This is huge. Hey, just shameless plug, then we'll go ahead and wrap up. So yesterday we had a bunch of clients come to our offices here in Tulsa to share really their like Redmond growth story on camera. Really, really cool time. It's just cool to see, hang out with you guys. Cool to hear the stories. We're gonna probably be doing another one in late September to mid-October. This would be the third one we've done this year. We did our first one in April. It's just been really cool to see. Your coach may talk to you guys about seeing if that's something that you'd open to. But Jordan and Aaron, I would love to get you guys over here too. It depends upon how many people we have coming from out of state. But we typically do like 4 or 5 clients at a time. We'll pay for your airfare, put you up in a good hotel, take care of your meals, and hang out with you guys. You know, it's also a chance to maybe meet with your coach in person. So just want to tell the clients who've already done that, thank you. It was awesome. It was so good. It was just fun to hang out with people. And then for anyone that might be interested in doing that, we're going to be doing another one in probably later September to mid-October. And your coach might ask you for that. But Jordan and Aaron, we were just talking to you guys. Would love to get you here. Would love to hang out with you guys for a bit.
That'd be great.
Cool. Awesome.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Everyone unmute your mics. Growth on three, growth on three. Taking it back to football season. College football is back this weekend. College football's back. All right, 3, 2, 1, growth. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, growth. Boomer Sooner, baby. Let's go. This is our year.